My name is Sang, and you're listening to Take 5 Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. If you are an old listener, welcome back. And if you are a new listener, we talk about everything here in this podcast. And also, it is raining right now. It's 5:30 p.m. in the evening, and you might hear some pitter patter of rain outside. So, yeah, it's a cozy weather to be making a podcast. So, like I said, I will make part two of men's mental health. This is part two. And if you have been following us on Instagram, you might have known that I made an anonymous confession forum where I made a questionnaire for you to fill up and just share with me your story and your journey. And I got a response from there. And today we're going to talk about that. And of course, I got the consent from that person to share his story on my podcast. So I want to thank you for that, for sharing me your story and opening up. I know it's not easy, and I'm just a stranger on the internet, right? But I want to let you know that I'm somebody who cares. Like I said in the earlier podcast of part one of men's mental health, I lost a friend to depression, and this is something that's very close to my heart. And I just want to do whatever I can to help anyone out there. And I would also like to put a disclaimer that I am not a professional, okay? Please don't take everything that I'm talking about here as end all be all. I'm not a therapist, nor am I a professional. I'm just a friend next door, okay? I'm just trying to help and listen to you. So, yeah, do my bit in this. So, yeah, let's get into the questions. Where are you from and what do you do for a living? I am from Sofima. I work as security in a company. What is your age? I'm 27 years old. What's something you've been carrying lately that you haven't really talked about with anyone? A grief remembering my dad. He passed away in 2021, right after ending of COVID. The regrets of not telling him I loved him the most every night. That moment he rests on my lap while talking with him. What kind of support do you wish people offered you but rarely do? For me personally, calling up asking, "How are you?" or even a text message. Have you ever wanted to ask for help but decided not to? What made it difficult? Yes, I decided not to because I overthink a lot, and I thought if I did, they will think I may be acting like more feminine way being a guy, or thinking they might make fun of it, of what I'll say. That's difficult for me because I wasn't taught to be that way since little. If you could be completely honest without fear of being judged, what would you say? I would say I know what I'm supposed to do and I know what to do and what not to do. So stop being the person trying to press others with your ideas. Can I read this on the podcast? Yes. First of all, thank you for sharing your story with me, and I'm very sorry for your loss. COVID was surely a difficult time for a lot of families. I remember my own friends, they lost their parent, and it was just so difficult. I didn't even know what to say. Losing your parent is something that is so painful, and any death of a loved one can just change everything about who you are and how you see life and all of that. It changes the whole trajectory of how you live your life before, and now after you lose your loved one, how you live your life now and how you see life. What really struck me in this confession was how this person admits that he does not know how to open up because he was never taught to as a child. So that really made me think and ponder on it, you know, because it's very easy for us to ask a man, "How are you?" And almost every time the answer is, "Yeah, I'm fine." You know, even when they're probably not, or even when they know they're not. And so the question is, why don't so many men talk about what they actually feel? I don't think most men wake up one day and decide, I'm never going to talk about my feelings. It's something that happens over the years. Think about growing up. A little boy falls down and starts crying. Someone says, come on, you're a strong boy, or stop crying. Or the classic, be a man. Most people don't even mean any harm when they say these things. There's no intent of harm. They just want to toughen up the little boy for a harsher world, you know? The world's not always going to be kind to them, so they just want to toughen up the little boy a little bit. So there's no harm behind it, but what it does over the years is something that we need to all think about. So just imagine if you keep hearing this over and over again, you start connecting two ideas. First of all, being emotional is bad. The second, being strong means dealing with everything yourself quietly. And these lessons, they just don't disappear when you become an adult. In fact, the foundation becomes even stronger. So you start believing even more that having emotions are not a good thing and you need to toss it out and you need to be strong all the time and just deal quietly with your problems. Don't share, don't show. So as men grow older, the problems change. So instead of scrap knee, what's happening? They're losing a job, for example, or a breakup, or money problems, feeling like you're falling behind in life. But the response often stays the same. Handle it, right? So instead of saying, I'm struggling, a lot of men convince themselves they just need to work harder or wait until the feeling goes away. And sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Another thing I think we underestimate is fear. Not fear of emotions, but fear of people's reaction. Like how this person in the anonymous confession shared with us, right? That he just don't know how people are going to react to his problems if he shares it with them. Imagine telling someone you're anxious, or that you're overwhelmed, or that you're feeling like you're failing. There's always that voice in your head asking, what if they think I'm weak? What if they don't take me seriously? What if they never look at me the same way again? Even if nobody actually says those things, the possibility can be enough to keep someone quiet. And then there's the idea that men always have the answers. You're supposed to stay calm, fix problems, support everyone else, be dependable. But who's supporting the person everyone depends on? Sometimes the strongest looking person is carrying the heaviest load, and nobody notices because they've become really good at hiding it. There's something that surprised me when I first learned about it. A lot of men don't actually have the words to explain what they're feeling. Not because they're emotionally disconnected, because nobody ever taught them. Ask someone how they're doing, and you'll get the same answers like, I'm tired, I'm stressed, I'm just busy. And sometimes those words are true, but sometimes I'm tired actually means I haven't slept because my mind won't stop racing. Sometimes I'm stressed means I feel like everything in my life is falling apart. And that's a huge difference. I've also noticed that men's friendship often work differently than female friendship. A lot of guys spend time together doing something like watching football, playing cricket, going to the gym, gaming, driving around. And those friendships are real. They're important. But emotional conversations don't always happen naturally. It's possible for two of them to know each other for 10 years and they would never ask, are you actually okay? And it's not because they don't care for their friend. It's because neither of them knows how to start that conversation. They were never taught how to have this kind of conversation. So if somebody opens up like that, I am 100% sure the other one would laugh at them and be like, why are you acting weird? You know? And that's not how it should be. The problem with keeping everything inside is that emotions just don't disappear. They usually come out somewhere else. Maybe you become short tempered. Maybe you throw yourself into work. Maybe you stop replying to messages. Maybe you drink more than you used to. Sometimes people say he changed, but maybe nothing has changed. Maybe the pressure just became too much to carry quietly. So now, what can help? And just telling someone to open up, that's not gonna work. Well, not usually. What helps is making people feel safe enough that they don't have to pretend. And sometimes the best response is not advice. It's just simply saying, I'm here, and that sounds difficult. I'm listening. And yeah, you don't have to solve people's problems. You don't have to stay up all night thinking, what can I do to solve that problem? Usually, people just want someone who can listen to them as they share their problem. Usually, people just want a shoulder to cry on or to rest their head in. And yeah, that's all you have to do as just common people, as just average people. I also think we need to stop treating vulnerability like it's the opposite of strength. It is not. Just think about it. It takes a lot more courage to admit you're struggling than it does to pretend everything is fine. Anyone can wear a mask. Being honest is way harder. So, yeah, before I finish, I just want to say one important thing. This is not about saying all men are emotionally closed off. Plenty of men are opening up with their feelings, and that is great. And plenty of women struggle to express emotions too. Everyone is different. But enough men have been raised with the idea that they should deal with everything alone, that it's worth talking about. Because silence can be dangerous. Sometimes the people who look like they're coping the best are the ones who need someone to ask one simple question, and that is, how are you? Really? And if someone trusts you enough to answer honestly, just listen. Don't interrupt. Don't judge. Don't try to fix everything in 5 minutes. Just listen. And this advice is more for me than anyone else because I just want to fix their problem, I just want to be like, hey, do this, you can do that, But I need to calm my nervous system down and just sit with them and listen. And maybe that's what you need to do as well. You just never know how much that conversation might mean to them. So, yeah, take care of yourself and others. This is Sang, and you're listening to Take 5 Podcast. All our socials are in the description below, so you can follow us if you like. Alright, you can hear the thunder rumbling. Need to sign off. Alright, bye!